by V1 is equal to N2 by N1. That is called K, which is called a transformation ratio. Transformation ratio of transformer. This is called the transformation ratio of the transformer. Okay. So here finally E1 is 4.44 N1 F phi m, E2 is 4.44 N2 F phi m, and E2 by E1 by N1 is equal to E2 by N2, and V2 by V1 is N2 by N1, that equal to K, which is called a transformation ratio. So what is the purpose of this transformation ratio? If you know the transformation ratio, or if you know the number of turns, the ratio between the number of turns of a transformer, and if you know any one of the voltages of the transformer, we can expect what is the other side voltage. Or otherwise, if you know the two voltages, if you know the one side is the number of turns, we can expect what is the other side of the number of turns. Okay, that is the purpose of this transformation ratio. Next one is ideal transformer. Ideal transformer. Ideal transformer. If we take an ideal transformer, first of all we should know some assumptions. We have to make some assumptions for ideal transformer. What are the assumptions? First one is the winding resistances are negligible. Winding resistances are negligible. The first point. So we have primary winding and secondary winding. Every winding possesses some resistance, right? But in the ideal transformer case, there are no resistances of the windings. And second one is all flux is confined to magnetic core. All flux is confined to the magnetic core. So what are the flux we are developing? That entire flux is passing through the magnetic core only. That entire flux is linking with the secondary. There is no losses of the fluxes here. Okay, all the flux is confined to the primary. Sorry, magnetic core. Next, core losses are negligible. Core losses are negligible. Next, the core has constant permeability. The core has constant permeability. What is the constant permeability means? That is magnetization curve is linear. That is magnetization curve is linear. These are the assumptions. First one is the winding resistance is 0. Second one is all the flux is confined to the magnetic core. Third one is the core losses are negligible. Almost core losses are 0. And next one is core has constant permeability. So that what is that magnetization curve is there. If we increase the flux or increase the current, what are the flux we are getting? That flux is also increasing in nature. Okay. So that it is a linear characteristics. This is called ideal transformers. So we are going to plot the phasor diagram for ideal transformer. This is most important. If you understand the phasor diagram of the ideal transformer, the practical transformer phasor diagram will become very simple. Okay. Phasor diagram of ideal transformer. Phasor diagram of ideal transformer. Normally, for example, we have a winding like this, which has a resistance at 0. So it is a pure inductor. We are giving a voltage here. Sinusoidal voltage we are giving. How the current is this current? Because this is a pure inductor. In the pure inductor, how the current? Current lags the voltage by 90 degrees. This is a pure inductor. Current lags the voltage by 90 degrees. So because of this, whatever the current flowing through this winding, that lags the voltage by 90 degrees. And at the same time, this current is developing a magnetic flux here. That magnetic flux. So magnetic flux and current both are in phase. So that the flux is also lags the voltage by 90 degrees, right? So here the same principle we are applying. We are taking here the flux as the reference. This is phi equal to phi m sin omega t. This is the flux. Okay. How the current is? Current is also in phase with the flux. So this flux, whatever the flux we are getting, that is because of this current I. So that current is also in phase with this. So that whatever that magnetizing current flowing here, which is I phi, this current is nothing but I phi, which is in phase with the flux. Next, how the voltage is? This current lags the voltage by 90 degrees, means this voltage leads this by 90 degrees. Here the thing is, we are taking flux as the reference. Always you have to remember flux as the reference. Why flux as the reference? In the transformer core, whatever the flux is moving, this flux we are taking as the reference. With refer to this, what is the induced EMF in the primary and what is the induced EMF in the secondary? We are approaching left side and we are approaching right side from the transformer core itself. That is, we are taking flux as the reference. So with refer to this flux, how this voltage? With refer to this voltage, current lags. With refer to this current, voltage leads. So how the voltage is in the primary of the transformer? Voltage leads this flux by 90 degrees. This is V1. How it is? It is leading 90 degrees. And how this E1 is? This is V1 we are applying, we are getting, and here induced EMF is E1. How E1 is? E1 is in opposition to the input voltage. So that how this E1 is? E1 is in opposing to this. So that how this E1 is acting in the downward direction. This is called E1. This is called E1. How V1 and E1 are when the losses are not there? Both V1 and E1 both are equal. That's why V1 is equal to minus E1. V1 is equal to minus E1. You see here once again, if you see that this is the core, and here we have some winding. Here a V1 is the voltage is given here, V1, and it is taking a current of I phi. Because of this I phi, a flux is set up here. Because of this flux, some EMF is inducing across this E1. How this V1 and E1 both are in phase opposition. So first we are taking flux as the reference. How this flux and current both are in phase. Both are in phase. This is similar to a voltage, sinusoidal voltage is fed to an inductor. A sinusoidal voltage is given to an inductor. What is the current run by that inductor? The current is always lags by 90 degrees. So because of this current, we are able to develop the flux. How the flux with refer to the voltage? The flux is also lags by 90 degrees. So that's why we are taking phi m as a reference, and I phi is in phase with this. This voltage is leading, flux is lagging or voltage leading. This is V1. How E1 is? E1 is in phase opposition. How E1? Here for example, this is V1. This is E1. How this V1 and E1 are in phase opposition? That's why we are taking this vector E1 in the opposite to this. But what are the magnitudes of this? The magnitudes are equal, so that V1 is equal to minus E1. Now what is the direction of E2 now? So this is V1. So again here also E2 is the induced EMF. How this E2 and E2? E2 is also opposite because of this flux. This flux is only because of this one. This is because of this one. Okay. So that how E2 is? E2 is also acts in the same direction, in the downward direction. This E1, E2 values will depends on whether it is a step up transformer or step down transformer. So this is the phasor diagram of ideal transformer. So now we are taking a time diagram for the ideal transformer. How the time diagram is? In this one also we are taking flux as the reference. Flux as the reference. How the flux is? Actually first one is current. Current is nothing but this is the current. Okay. 0, pi, 2 pi. This is nothing but I phi current. This current, because of we are applying a voltage across an inductor, it is drawing a current I. How the current is? Current is sinusoidal current, but it lags the voltage by 90 degrees. Because of this current we are able to develop flux. How the flux is? This is the flux. How this flux is? Flux is in phase with the current. Like this. This is nothing but the maximum value of the flux phi m. This is nothing but the maximum value of the current. Next, how this current with refer to voltage, it is lagging or voltage is leading. Therefore, how E1 is? E1 is leading in nature. This is pi by 2. So that how E1 is, this is E1. This is the induced EMF E1. How E2? E2 is also in phase with this. E2 means in phase with this means, for example, E2 and E1 both are equal or different. For example, it is a step down transformer. If it is a step down transformer, how E2 is? This is nothing but E2. If it is a step down transformer. So once again, how the flux is? This is the direction of the flux. This is getting maximum value, minimum value like this. How voltage is? Voltage leading this. That's why this is the voltage E1. E1 and E2 both are in the same phase with different magnitudes. So coming for phasor diagram, this is phi m. I phi is in same direction. Voltage leads this flux by 90 degrees V1. That E1 is in phase opposition to this. So that we are taking this one E1 reverse direction. V1 and E1 both are equal but opposing. That's why V1 is equal to minus E1. E2 is also acting in the same direction of E1, which is because this is also opposing the very cause of it. So this is under the ideal transformer under the no load conditions. For example, on the ideal transformer we are imposing a load. What happens? The ideal transformer on load. Second topic is ideal transformer on load. This is the ideal transformer on load. Okay. Here you see here, transformer primary is excited by input voltage of V1. So the induced EMF in this one is E1. So when switch is open, the induced EMF is E2. If you close the switches, a load is connected, then it will draw a load current of I2. When switch S is closed, a load current I2 flows here. Here just you see here, simple logic is there, simple relation is there. When supply is given, flux phi is set up. When this flux phi is linking with the number of turns N1, it is giving a EMF of E1, right? Next one, when this transformer is loaded, this ideal transformer is loaded, we are closing this switch here. If you close this switch, what happens? It draws some current I2. In the secondary is also there is a current I2, right? So whenever there is a current in the secondary winding I2, so here induced EMF is E2. So here because of this induced EMF, if you close this switch, it is drawing a current of I2. When secondary is with a current of I2. So what happens? This I2 current also develops a flux in the secondary winding. So primary winding, when fed with a input voltage V1, it is drawing a current I0, it is developing a flux of phi. So when that flux is linking with the secondary, EMF is inducing. That is first part. The second part is, when the load is connected, the secondary is also current I2 is flowing here. Because of this I2 also some flux will be developed in the secondary winding. So this is the flux in the secondary winding. How this flux? This flux is opposes the main flux. So the main flux is acting in this in the core, one flux, because of primary current is acting in this direction. So the secondary currents are also giving a some flux. How this flux? This flux opposite acts in the opposite direction to this one. Then what is the resultant flux in the core material? The resultant flux is nothing but both are acting in opposite. So that what is the resultant flux here? The resultant flux in the core is nothing but phi1 minus phi2, which is decreases. Which decreases the net flux in the core. But in an ideal transformer, what is the condition? V1 must be equal to E1. V1 must be equal to E1. What is E1 actually? This is the induced EMF in the primary coil, when only phi1 alone there. But here, because of the load currents, there is a secondary flux of phi2 is there, which is opposing the first flux, so that resultant flux in the core will be decreased. So what is the resultant flux here? Phi1 minus phi2. When that small flux or decreased flux is linking with a coil, whatever to this E1 actually, E1 should be reduced. E1 should be reduced. But what is the condition here for the ideal transformer? V1 must be equal to E1. So that we have to increase this E1. We have to increase the resultant flux in this. So to increase the resultant flux in the core material, from the primary, our transformer will draw the more current. The thing is, first of all, for example, let us, our transformer is taking a 2 amperes of current under no load conditions. When no load is connected here, this is no load. At that moment, it is developing a flux of 20 milliweber, for example, 20 milliweber. When load is connected there, that current is also flowing through this winding. So this winding produces some flux. What is that flux here? Phi2. How this flux? This flux is opposing the first flux. So what is the resultant flux here? Because of secondary current I2, this phi value is decreased. Why it is decreased? There is opposite flux is induced in the core. So when this flux is decreased, what is the induced EMF across this actually? Decreases. This induced EMF across E1 will be decreases. So actually what is the condition here? V1 must be equal to E1. So for that, here what happens? Flux is decreasing. When flux is decreasing, what should be E1 actually? E1 should be decreased. But what is the balancing condition? V1 must be equal to E1 irrespective of the sign. So E1 should not be decreased, because 220 we are giving, it is 200, it should not be 200. That's why our primary will take the further current. Further current means instead of 2 amperes, now under loaded condition, it maybe takes 4 amperes. It will take a current such that the same amount of the flux retains in the magnetic core. Same amount of the flux retains in the magnetic core. So that's why. So because of this, what happens here? Flux is reaching to, for example, 15 milliweber. How much drop is there in the flux? 5 milliweber. Why there is a drop? Because another 5 milliweber is injected in the core material because of the secondary. But what is the condition? V1 must be equal to E1. So retain that how E1 will be increases, how E1 reaches to V1. So E1 reaches to V1 whenever our input will take the more current. The input current is greater, the input current is increased, the resultant flux in the core is also increases, so that E1 will be same as V1. It appears the same as the V1. Okay, like this it will be goes on. So when the transformer is under loaded condition, just you note on this point. When ideal transformer is on load, when S is closed, S is nothing but switch. S is closed, secondary draw a current I2. Secondary draw current I2, which sets up N2 I2 is MMF. N2 I2, which is called secondary MMF. Secondary MMF. and it opposes the main field flux phi m. Main field flux phi m. But any reduction in flux reduces E1. But in ideal transformer, what is the condition? V1 must be equal to minus E1. To retain the same E1, because E1 is reducing, because resultant flux is decreased. So now primary will draws the more current. Hence extra load current of I1 dash is drawn from primary to compensate the flux reduction. Therefore, at this point what happens? Extra current it is drawing, so that I1 dash N1 must be equal to N2 into I2. So what is the extra MMF here? The extra MMF, initially it is taking a I0 current. Here what is the total current and extra current of I1 dash is included. Initially it is taking a current of I0. Now what is the total current? Total current is nothing but I0 plus I1 dash. What is this extra current? Extra component of the current is to induce the more MMF in the primary winding. It will induce as the more MMF in the primary winding. That's why we are going to take extra component. What is the purpose of this extra? What is the balancing of this extra component of the MMF? The extra component of the MMF I1 dash, extra current into N1 MMF of the primary must be equal to the MMF of the secondary, because this MMF is increased. So because of that there is a reduction in the flux. So from this I1 dash by I2 is equal to N1 by N2. Actually what is I1? I1 is nothing but I1 dash plus I5 or I0. I5 or I0. Here I0 is very small. I0 is very small than I1 dash. Therefore I1 is equal to I1 dash. Therefore what is the condition here? I1 by I2 is equal to N1 by N2. I1 by I2 is equal to N1 by N2. But what is N1 by N2? 1 by K. Therefore there is another relation for the transformation ratio of the transformer. V2 by V1 is equal to E2 by E1, which is equal to N2 by N1, that equal to I1 by I2. This is reverse. I1 by I2. This is transformation ratio. So at how much extra current is required here? What is extra current is needed here? I1 dash is nothing but N1 by N2 times of I2. So I2 by K, which is nothing but I2 by K times. So this is a relation between the primary currents and secondary currents of a transformers. Okay. Next, for this case, we are going to plot the phasor diagram. In the previous case, what we have done? We have plotted the phasor diagram for only under no load conditions. Ideal transformer under no load condition. How ideal transformer phi 1 we are taking as the reference? I1 is in phase with that, V1 is leading that, and E1 and E2 are in the phase opposition to that, and V1 is equal to minus E1. But coming for loaded condition, we are going to plot the phasor diagram. phasor diagram of ideal transformer on load. On load we are going to plot the phasor diagram. Here what is the reference we have taken, like previous case? This is nothing but phi m. This is nothing but phi m. So initially under no load condition, what are the current taken by our transformer when core losses are not there? That is only to produce the magnetic flux. That is only to produce the magnetic. The current taken by the transformer is only to produce the magnetic flux. So that the current taken by the transformer is nothing but I phi. I phi is nothing but which is used to produce the magnetic flux. Next, how V1 is? V1 is leading this current. So this is nothing but V1, which is equal to minus E1, right? Which is equal to minus E1. So how E1 is? E1 is acting actually E1. How E1 is acting? E1 is acting in the downward direction. How E2? E2 is also acting in the downward direction. This is nothing but E2, which is equal to V2. Which is equal to V2. This is the case when ideal transformer, when losses are not there, resistive losses and all these losses are not there. Okay. Next, how this current I2? I2 is lagging. So how the I2 is? This is the transformer. This is the transformer. This is the secondary winding. Here V2 is the voltage. Here we connected a load. So how the current? The current depends on load. The load is nothing but RL load we are using, so that the current lags this V2 by angle phi, lagging angle. So this is V2, this is V2. So how the current I2 is? I2 is the current which lags E2 by angle of phi 2. This is the current I2 which is nothing but which is lagging at an angle of phi 2, the applied voltage V. Now what is the primary side resultant current actually? What is the primary side resultant current? We have taken I1 dash by I2 is equal to N1 by N2, or I1 dash or I1 is equal to N1 by N2 into I2, which is I2 by K. I2 by K. So on the secondary side the current is I2. What is the extra component of the current on the primary side because of this? That is nothing but I1 dash. Ante kada. What is I1 dash? I1 dash is nothing but N1 by N2 into I2. So what is this component? I2 by K. I2 by K, right? So which is nothing but I1 dash we are going to get here. Okay? I1 dash. So which is I1 dash? I1 dash is nothing but we got I1 dash is nothing but K times of I2. Sorry. I1 by I2 is nothing but N2 by N1. I1 by I2 is nothing but here. I1 by I2 is nothing but N2 by N1. Reverse to the transformation ratio. So that we got I1 dash is nothing but N2 by N1 times of I2, which is K times of I2. What is this K times of I2? On the secondary side there is a current of 5 amperes. Its reflected value on the primary is nothing but K times of I2. If a transformer is having K is equal to 1 by 10. K is 1 by 10. When that ideal transformer is under loaded condition, it is taking a current of I2 equal to 20 amperes. What is reflected value on the primary? I1 dash is nothing but 1 by 10 into 20, which is nothing but 12 amperes. So primary side it will take extra current. How much extra current it is taking? Only 2 amperes of extra current it is taking. So that what is the value of primary current actually? The primary current value is nothing but the no load current or magnetizing component of the current plus how much extra current is needed to compensate in the reduction in the magnetic flux in the core such that V1 is equal to E1. So that what is this value? This value in the reverse direction we can extend this. This is nothing but I1 dash, which is nothing but K times of I2. And reverse direction. Why it is reverse direction? Because this is with referred to the primary and this is with referred to the secondary. So that what is the resultant current here? One is to develop the magnetic flux. The other one is only because of the load, which is I1 dash. The resultant of these two will gives you what is the current I1. What is the actual primary current I1? So what is the actual primary current I1? I1 is nothing but magnetizing component plus the extra current. This extra current is because of load. If the load is 20 amperes, this extra current on the primary side is only 2 amperes. Like that, this is the phasor diagram for ideal transformer under loaded condition. You note on this. This is the phasor diagram for ideal transformer under the loaded conditions. Next one, we are going to plot the phasor diagram for a practical transformer. We are writing for a practical transformer. Practical transformer means the transformer where core losses are there, the transformer winding resistance we have to consider, where there is a resistance drop because of the winding resistances R1 and R2. Okay, like that we are going to take the practical transformer. First one, at no load conditions we are plotting the phasor diagram at no load condition. Practical transformer at no load. At no load conditions we are plotting the phasor diagram. Under no load condition means what happens? Whatever the load current is there, or whatever that input voltage is there, that input voltage is driving some load current in the primary winding. The purpose of that one is to develop the flux. That primary winding means winding is also having some resistance and reactance. So here also same thing, we are taking phi m as the reference. This is nothing but voltage V1 which is leading this, which is equal to minus E1, or this voltage is not equal to V1 now. Why? Because in the primary we are taking the resistance and reactance of the primary winding. Under no load condition, what happens here? It is taking a small current of I0. So this is a voltage of V1. This is the induced EMF E1. What is the induced EMF E1 here? If you give 220 volts, here only 210 volts. Rest of the thing is the drop in the resistance and the reactance. Primary winding resistance and primary winding reactance, there are the two drops are there. That two drops, if we subtract from this V1, we are going to get E1. Okay, that's why this is nothing but V1 dash. E1 is nothing but V1 dash. So it is equivalent. This component we are taking on this side, which is E1 dash. And next one, how the current is? Current is having two components under no load condition. One is for the production of the magnetic flux. The other one is the core loss component. In the core loss, in the form of resistance, there is a power loss is there, which is causing a core loss component IC. So I0 is having two components. One is for the production of the magnetic flux and something is for the production for the compensate the equivalent to the core loss. So that the resultant of these two is nothing but I0. So this is the current drawn from the primary of the transformer. Okay. So what is the loss here? There is a drop here. Here this is V1 is this. So in phase with this I0, there is a drop I0 R1, and perpendicular to this there is a drop J I0 X1. So this is nothing but V1. On the primary. What about on the secondary? Secondary, E1 is acting in this direction and E2 is also acting in this direction. This angle is called alpha. This angle is called phi naught. No load power factor angle. Here at no load we are taking I0 is here. What is I0? No load current. So what is I phi? I phi is nothing but magnetizing component of current. This is also denoted with I mu. So this will provide the magnetic flux. IC is core loss component of current. IC is called core loss component of the current. Sometimes it is denoted with IW also. What is I naught here? I naught is nothing but magnetizing component of the current I mu square plus IC square. Okay. So here I mu, magnetizing component of the current, which is also denoted with I phi. This is about 4 to 6% of full load current. And core loss component IW or IC is 1 to 2% of full load current. This is 1 to 2% of the full load current. Whatever that no load current is there, that is 5 to 8% of full load current. Whatever that no load phase angle is there, phi naught. Phi naught is around 70 to 75 degrees. Or no load power factor cos phi naught is approximately equal to 0.2. This point is important, since I mu is very much greater than IC. So this point is important. No load power factor is around 0.2. Okay. So what is that IC? This is I naught. So what is that IC? IC is nothing but I naught cos phi naught. And what is I mu or I phi? I phi is nothing but I naught sin phi naught. So that here the core loss component is nothing but I naught cos phi naught, and magnetizing component is nothing but I naught sin phi naught. They are the relations, different relations you have to remember. And here at no load, what are the power taken by the transformer? At no load, the input power is equal to the input power, which is called a no load power, only to fulfill the constant losses, which is equal to W naught is V1 I naught cos phi naught. That is nothing but V1 into IW, because I naught cos phi naught is nothing but IW, which is nothing but iron losses. Iron losses of a transformer. So that here what is the condition? The power taken by the transformer under no load condition is only to fulfill the iron losses. The power taken by transformer under no load is, what is the purpose of this power? This is only to fulfill the copper losses or core losses, core losses are constant losses. Load is used to supply constant losses, that is iron losses. So that's why what are the transformer is there, whenever if you connect, for example you are having cell phone chargers also having transformers. If you connect that transformer, cell phone chargers to the power supply, and you are not connecting any load or cell phone to that, what happens? It will take some small currents. So what are these currents? These currents are nothing but only the magnetizing components of the currents, or what are the core losses components of the current. So there is a core loss and there is a magnetizing. So these two are called, collectively called the iron losses of the transformer. Okay, now we let us take 5 minutes break. is linear. Magnetization curve is linear means, so if the field current, for example, if current we are IF is we are using for the field, okay, if that field current is increases, the magnetic flux is also increases linearly. So for beyond certain limit, what happens is the magnetic flux will be, instead of increasing, it will be decreases because of saturation. First question, Anas from Indore. Please explain what do you mean by magnetization curve is linear. In diagram, what will be the curve of V1? Okay. So here, the magnetization curve is linear means, for example, if you take a coil and you send some DC current through this, for example, you are increasing this current. If you increase this current, so that if we increase the field current, whatever the flux we are getting, that flux should be linear. The flux is also increases. If the current is increases, whatever the flux is there, the flux is also increases. But because of magnetic saturation, after reaching some certain value of IF, even though IF is increasing, the flux will be decreases, not increases. So which is called, for example, this is the linear characteristics. Beyond some certain value of the field current, what happens is this curve will be like this. So this is called a linear, this is called saturation. So that's why this is called a linear. So wherever the flux is increasing with refer to the field current, that is called a linear characteristics, right? And what is the diagram of V1? So V1 diagram is reverse of E1, because how E1 is, how we have taken E1, how the E1 is, this is the flux. So how E1 we have taken E1 like this. This is E1. How V1? V1 is in phase opposition with E1. So automatically what is the E1? V1 diagram will be like this, right? Its magnitude must be equal to E1, but in 180 degrees phase shift. Okay. Next, Manoj from Delhi. Sir, what we call E1 and E2 in a transformer, is there any, second question, Manoj from Delhi, sir, what we call E1 and E2 in transformer, is there any formula to derive it? The E1 and E2 are nothing but only induced EMFs in the transformers. V1 is the supply voltage and V2 is the voltage what is available across the output terminals of the transformer. This induced EMF E1 and E2, what is the formula E1? E1 is what is the induced EMF? What we have seen that those are nothing but induced EMF 4.44 5FT, like that we are going to take, which is nothing but the induced EMF formulas. Okay, already we derived that, which is nothing but induced EMF of a transformer. Okay, Manoj. Next, Saroj from Navapara. What is the difference in turn ratio and transformation ratio? Turns ratio is nothing but N1 by N2. Turns ratio of the transformer is nothing but N1 by N2. Transformation ratio of the transformer is nothing but N2 by N1. This is inverse. Turns ratio and transformation ratios are inverse. Okay. Next, Manoj from Delhi. I1 by I2 is equal to N2 by N1. Right. What are the currents? Yes. That currents are related with the transformers. That's why we are taken. What is that I1 dash? I1 dash is nothing but K times of I2, which is nothing but N2 by N1 into I2. Therefore, I1 by I2 must be equal to N2 by N1. It is right. Okay. Next, Saroj from Navapara. While doing time diagram of the ideal transformer, you had taken E1 is in phase with what is it? What is that? Current wave, but it should be opposite in phase. What is that? What is that your question? While doing the time diagram of ideal transformer, you have taken E1 in phase with Fi. What is this Fi? In phase with current. You see here, I will give that. Your question is not clear, even though that I can understand that there is some you are not followed that waveform. So how phi we have taken? Phi m we have taken as the reference. This is nothing but phi value, which is having a maximum value of this one. This is for this question is for Saroj. Okay. So next, how I1 is? I phi is in phase with this. This is nothing but I phi, right? This is I phi. This is phi, the magnetizing component. How phi in the diagram we have taken? This is phi m. We have taken this is phi m, and leading to this we are having V1, which is equal to minus E1. Okay, and lagging to this we are having E1 and E2, right? So this V1, E1 is lagging this. V1 is lagging this means how E1 is? This is E1, this is phi. After some 90 degrees our waveform is started. After 90 degrees, our E1 is started. So that how E1 is? E1 is like this. When it is 0, it is getting maximum like this. Like this, we have the E1 value. Right? How E1? E1 is lagging this by 90. That's why we have taken this is E1, which is lagging this one by 90 degrees. After 90 degrees, it is starting. Okay? How E2? E2 is also in phase with this, but different magnitude. For example, it is a transformation ratio N1 and N2 both are equal. So this is also equal to E2. Or otherwise, if the E2 is greater than E1, how E2 is? E2 waveform will be like this. But how these two are? These two are in phase. But what about V1? V1 is nothing but minus E1. How V1? V1 is leading this. So that this E1 is lagging, or V1 means how the V1 is? This is the V1 value. So how V1 is? V1 is leading this. When current is 0 or flux is 0, your V1 is getting the maximum value. When flux is getting the maximum value, your V1 is getting 0. So that this is V1 waveform. So exactly in phase opposition with E1, there is a V1. Okay. So next one, this is the answer for Saroj from Navpara. Opposite in VM, I wrong, please correct me. Okay, this is the answer for that. Next, Anas from Indore. Why is magnetizing component of current is much greater than the core loss component? Right, good question. So here the purpose of that current is only to develop the magnetic flux. Only to develop the magnetic flux. The second thing is nothing but core loss component. What is the core loss component? This is nothing but a component which is wasted in the form of I square R. Here we are using the laminations. Once the laminations are used, whatever that core loss component current or currents induced in the magnetic core are very minimum. We have reduced that. That's why this component of current is less. Good. Okay. Anas from Indore. Next, Revati from Erode. Sir, V1 is equal to minus E1. Right. V1 is equal to minus E1 because in case of ideal transformer only this is. V1 is equal to minus E1. This is only in case of the ideal transformer only. Not in case of the practical transformer. The practical transformer V1 is not equal to E1. E1 plus the drop because of the winding resistance, the drop because of the reactance of the winding is nothing but V1 in case of the practical transformer. Okay. This is the answer for Revati from Erode. Any more questions? Okay. Now the phasor diagrams for under loaded condition. We are going to take the phasor diagram for under load condition. In the previous case, we have taken the phasor diagram for the only under no load condition. Under no load condition, what are the losses here? What are the no load current is there? Whatever that no load current is there, that current is having two components. One is a magnetizing component, second one is core loss component, right? So that this core loss component is only in the form of the loss in the core in the form of the heat, that's all. The magnetizing component of the current is only to develop the magnetic flux, okay, which is called magnetizing component. Next one, when the transformer is under loaded condition, what is the phase? This is very important. The phasor diagram is most important in the transformers. Phasor diagram under loaded conditions. Phasor diagram under load. So as usual, we are taking phi m as the reference here. If you listen carefully, this is most important. This is phi m. The same direction of phi m, we have a magnetizing current I mu or I phi, whatever it may be. Okay. Next, this is nothing but V1 dash, which is equal to minus E1. And in this direction, we are going to take E1 and E2. These are acting, these are not equal. E1 and E2 are acting in the downward direction. Okay. So here, what is the terminal voltage V2? This is the V2. This is V2. Actually in the transformer, the primary winding, this is a primary winding, and this is the secondary winding. The primary winding, here the supply voltage is V1, here the induced EMF is E1, here the induced EMF is E2, here the output voltage is V2. When transformer is unloaded, this is taking a current of I2. So it has a resistance as well as a reactance, R1 J X1. It is taking a current of I1, right? This is under load condition. This is also having a resistance of R2 and X2. This is R2 and this is J X2. So how E1 is? V1 is more voltage, here less induced EMF because there are the losses. What is the equation here? V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 into R1 plus JX1. This is the equation. E1 plus the drop because of this plus drop because of this is nothing but V1. Similarly here the induced EMF is E2. Out of induced EMF there is some drop. After that rest of the thing is reflecting as the output voltage. So that what is the equation here? E2? E2 is nothing but V2 plus I2 into R2 plus JX2. Okay. So this is the equation on the second side. Based on that equations we are plotting the phasor diagram. How V2 and E2, is it equal V2 and E2? V2 and E2 are not equal. That's why we have taken this V2 in this direction. This is V2. How I2? For example, this is nothing but a lagging load we are taking. The first case we are taking lagging power factor load. The nature of the load which we are imposing on the transformer is lagging power factor load. So that this is V2, and how this current is? Current lags this at an angle of phi 2. Current is lagging at an angle of phi 2. Okay. So this is I mu, and there is a magnetizing component, a core loss component is IC. The resultant of these two currents is nothing but I0, which is called the no load current of a transformer. This is a no load current of transformer. What is a no load current of a transformer? Under no load conditions, the current taken by a transformer is having two components. One is a magnetizing component, the other one is nothing but core loss component. Next, when our transformer is loaded, it is taking a current of I2. How this current I2? At an angle of phi 2. For example, if we are taking this one with a more magnitude, okay, this is I2. So what is transformed value on the primary side? Is transformed value on the primary side is reverse of this. This value is nothing but I1 dash, which is nothing but K times of I2. Already we derived this. Okay. This is I1 dash. Next, what is I1? I0 plus I1. I0 plus I1 is nothing but the I1 dash is nothing but the I1 current. So here the vector sum if we take, this is the vector sum. This current is nothing but the primary current I1. This is the primary current I1. So to this E1, if we add I1 R1 plus I1 JX1, we are going to get V1. So this is E1, which is in negative direction we are taking. So in parallel to this I1, there is a drop because of resistance of the primary winding. And J I1 X1. J means, what is that operator? J means it is a 90 degrees vector. So that this is nothing but J I1 X1. This resultant is nothing but V1. So V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 plus J I1 X1, that is nothing but V1. So if this I1 R1 drop is in parallel to this one. These two are parallel. Similarly, how V2? V2 plus I2 R2. How I2 R2 is? I2 R2 is in parallel with this. This is I2 R2. This is I2 R2. And perpendicular to this, we are going to take J I2 X2. Then this vector is nothing but, what is this vector? This vector is nothing but E2. This vector is E2. V2 plus parallel to the current I2, there is an I2 R2 drop. Perpendicular to that, there is J I2 X2 drop. This resultant is nothing but E2. So this is the procedure to plot the phasor diagram of the transformer under lagging power factor. So in the leading power factor, we can take after 15 minutes break. Let us take 15 minutes break. After the break, we can go for leading power factor phasor diagram of transformer, right?